What is going on, guys? Rewinds here, and in this video we are going to be having a discussion about the Boruto 2 Blue Vortex manga. In particular, we are going to talk a little bit about chapter 28 in this video, but we're going to be talking about a potential event that might occur at some point in the Boruto manga as well in 2 Blue Vortex, and that would be the potential death of Himawari. And the reason we're talking about this now is because of some stuff that was revealed in the last chapter. And in the last chapter, pretty much what happened is that Kashin Koji is pretty much telling Inojin that, hey, we pretty much brought you here in order for you to learn a new jutsu that's going to help us beat Mamushi in this upcoming battle, or at least, help tip the favor in terms of the village rather than what it would have been without Inojin knowing this jutsu. So Inojin is pretty much expected to learn a new mind transfer jutsu, and this is something that he actually made himself. And the reason he actually made this jutsu to begin with is because in a alternate future that Kashin Koji saw, Himawari does indeed die, and Himawari dies at the hand of Jura. And as that happens, Inojin is pretty much left in this state where now he ends up developing this new version of the mind transfer jutsu in order to avenge Himawari from Jura. That probably realistically doesn't happen, of course, in that timeline because the chances of beating Jura are pretty slim in general, and a lot of stuff has to go pretty damn perfect in order to defeat Jura. But Inojin does develop this new mind transfer variation, and that's very important now for this upcoming battle we have that's going to be kicking off in chapter 28. So the setup has been pretty good in that regard for stuff to come, and that does still leave the question though, and I am going to talk about that here, is will Himawari die at some point in this series? So here's the thing. I think Himawari, personally, I feel like that could be a very impactful death if they go that route at some point. However, I don't really want to see Himawari die. And I will give a couple reasons for that. For one, I'm a fan of the character and I don't really want her to really go out after a lot of the stuff she's already suffered these last few years. She, doesn't even have her mom and dad anymore. She doesn't know what exactly happened per se between this whole Boruto and Kawaki stuff. And yet she's still, hanging in there and trying to get by and whatnot. She does have this power up right now, which is really cool with Kurama. And it's going to be interesting to see if, that connection she has with Kurama is going to really blossom to its full potential or not as Himawari continues to train. I feel like Himawari is a character, especially if she were to die really soon, would be a lot of wasted potential in that regard. And as a fan, I really want to see Himawari get to reunite at some point with both Naruto and Hinata towards the end of the story, because that's where I feel like they're going to eventually be brought back. And I don't want to see Himawari really go out. I don't even want to say until then. I probably don't want to see her really go out at all. So hopefully that's one of those characters they don't go that route with. But however, with the whole, Koji alternate realities that he sees, or alternate futures that he gets to see, hopefully they can keep going certain ways in order to avoid Himawari's future death. However, we also do know that Koji is one of those characters that clearly isn't scared of people dying if it means there might be less deaths in the future or something, a little bit more different in terms of impact. And what I mean by that is that in the sand rescue arc that we just had, Koji knew that Yodo was going to die, for example, and that happened. And there's a chance that maybe Konohamaru could have died too. We don't know for sure if that's what was really going to be how it went, but there was a chance that he could have. However, one thing that is a little iffy about that is ultimately, Koji on that mission wanted that mission to go the way it did because he wanted Sarada to awaken that Mangekyo Sharingan power and actually use it, which did end up happening. So that's what Koji saw in the long run of like what could be really good for them. However, as I said, Yodo got sacrificed pretty much, and Konohamaru, although he did put up a good effort against Matsuri, she was like pretty damaged and whatnot. Konohamaru could have been taken out as well. I feel like in some reality version Koji saw, there could have also been a scenario where maybe Konohamaru either dies or gets really close to dying in front of Sarada, and maybe Sarada, awakened the Mangekyo in that kind of scenario, or reawakened it, I should say, because she did have it for that moment in the first part of Boruto towards the end. But I digress. Yeah, I feel like that could have been another possibility why Konohamaru was sent to, aside from the fact, of course, too, that he'd be the best person to distract Matsuri. But the main thing is Koji is gonna do what he needs to do in order to feel like he's giving the world a better chance to survive. So if that does mean Himawari's death at some point, he would probably have no problem with it. And that's where him and Boruto really conflict, because Boruto doesn't want to see people die just to increase the odds of survival. Boruto, especially, people that are close to him, he would rather keep alive, of course. So I feel like if we ever did head the route where Himawari did die in the story, I feel like that would be the tipping point for Boruto, and Boruto would turn on Koji there, because Koji would probably have an idea of what's to come, and Boruto would definitely not rock with that, and I also feel like Inojin wouldn't rock with that. So that's kind of my ramble on that. I don't really see them going this route of killing Himawari, but if they did, it's most likely going to be one of those things where Himawari would go out to Jura, and it probably would be one of the saddest deaths in the series. So I don't know. What do you guys think, though? Let me know in the comments below, like, what you guys think of Himawari potentially dying in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex in general, or even, as it pertains to this upcoming arc where we have Mamushi invading. Do you feel like that would be a little bit more like a wasted potential death? Would you guys say you're a little bit more cool with it, or are you guys a little bit more like me, where you feel like she's not really the right choice of a character to necessarily kill off at the moment, or in general? But that's kind of mostly what sums up my thoughts on that. Hopefully we get to see Inojin master this jutsu, because now we jumped into this battle, so hopefully we get to see that in use in chapter 28 and beyond, because this battle's going to be tough. Maybe Damon even will have some competition here, because Mamushi's abilities, they're definitely OP. They're going to have to strike at the perfect moment in order to actually take him out. So let's see what happens with that. Let's see who gets involved. But I feel like we got some good content to come for sure in the near future, so let's look forward to that. I'm definitely going to make a couple more videos, I would say, regarding chapter 28, some discussions, so look forward to that. But that's going to wrap up this one. If you guys did enjoy the video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel if you guys are new, and as always, I hope you guys have a good day or night whenever you guys are watching this video. I'm Rewinds, and I'm out.